A sadistic paranormal serial killer is out on the loose, abducting children in the neighborhood. He kidnaps a boy who teams up with dead victims to bring him down. Will the boy survive? And will his plan work out? Hello, and welcome to our channel. Today, we'll recap and review a horror movie, The Black Phone. So let's check it out.
Finney and his younger sister Gwen are on their way to school when they discover a flyer of another missing person. The Grabbler, as they referred to the abductor, had struck again. They stare at the flyer for a moment and wonder if he'll ever be found. Finney goes in for lectures. He has a crush in his class.
However, Finney is that shy friend that'll never speak to a girl that's not his sister.
Unluckily, he didn't only have a crush, but also had bullies that'd pick on him every time. After lectures, he rushes to go hide in the school restroom quickly. The bullies walk in and threaten to beat him up. However, it seems today is his lucky day. Robin, who has the title of the toughest boy in school, saves Finney and warns the bullies never to mess with him again. The two become friends and discuss movies they both enjoy watching. Then, Robin invites him over to his house. Finney has never had a friend before. Back to Gwen. It is an unusual event for her as she is invited to her proprietor's office. When she is introduced to a few detectives, she is confused about what is happening. She is being interrogated over the abductions. The detectives question her concerning a dream she had about a recent child that had been abducted. She had dreamt of a man with a black balloon kidnapping a boy. The police found that detail too accurate when they found black balloons at the abduction site. Gwen refuses to reveal more details about the event and gives sarcastic replies. Upon getting nothing, the detectives walk away. School ends, and Finney and Gwen return back home. Finney wakes up to screams from Gwen, who is receiving lashes from their unhappy father. He warns her to stop dreaming about weird kinds of stuff. Her dad gets furious over why the police came to interrogate him over Gwen. He flogs her mercilessly and makes her promise never to dream again. Finney is watching the television when he receives shocking news about his friend Robin. He is told his new friend has also been abducted. Finney is devastated and sad just when he thinks he finally has a friend. He begs Gwen to try dreaming if she will get anything useful in bringing his dear friend back. Finally, she decides to help with his request and prays to God to show her. The police return to their house to question Gwen again, but from her dad's instructions, she refuses to speak. Finney returns to life without Robin. He is attacked by the bullies who are taking advantage now that Robin is out of the picture. Gwen joins in to help Finney fight, but the two are beaten. Coming back from school, Gwen decides to stay at her friend's.
The two go separate ways. Unknowingly to Finney, the craziest, most unfortunate event was just about to happen.
He approaches a straight road and finds a man close to a black car. The man lures him to come to see a magic trick. The kid is skeptical when he sees black balloons. However, before he can deduce a thing, the Grabbler overpowers and forces him into the car. Finney struggles off and can leave a mark on him, but the Grabbler is too strong. He takes Finney into his den and locks him in a soundproof room filled with death. He teases and threatens the scared Finney, who stays brave and tries his best not to freak out. When the Grabbler leaves, Finney quickly surveys the room, looking for a way out. The room is empty, save for a disconnected black phone he finds on the wall. He gives up as he doesn't find a clear means of escape. The news of her brother's departure is broken to Gwen, and she is beyond devastated and bothered. Meanwhile, at the Grabbler's den, something strange happens to Finney, which leaves him shocked. Finney hears the black phone ring. This is shocking, as the phone was said to be dead. He rushes to pick it up, but there's no response. The Grabbler walks in and tells him to give up trying to listen to the phone ring. Finney begs for his release and promises not to breathe to anyone about it. The Grabbler laughs over it and tells him not to bother. Finney threatens to scream and call for help, but that won't change anything as it's all soundproofed. He goes on to scream and frantically looks for a way to escape. Finney is panicking and realizes the Grabbler has taken even kids stronger than him. He says to himself, if it was possible to break out, one of them should have done it, maybe Robin.
Finney cries, and gives up on any hope of leaving alive. While he's contemplating, the most unexpected event that'd help Finney survive occurs.
He hears the black phone ring for the second time. He imagines this to be another prank call. However, he goes to pick up the phone. He speaks, but still no response. Once again, Finney hears the phone ring. He rushes, picks up the phone, and tries to persuade whoever is at the end of the call to speak. Finally, a voice speaks through the phone. Surprised and puzzled, he engages the voice to reveal more information and asks for the name of who is speaking. Finney discovers it's one of the abducted kids murdered by the Grabbler. Finney can identify the voice as Bruce, with whom he once played baseball. He asks if the phone rang for him too. Bruce answers and says it rang, but none of them could hear. Bruce then guides Finney to a room where he can find a way to escape by digging up the dirt around the area. Finney swings to action and begins digging up, so he escapes to the other area. Gwen is still seeking a clue that'd help her brother out. She dreams of seeing Finney banging on a wooden door, trying to escape. She feels this is a sign and picks up her bike and goes around the neighborhood, trying to find a door that looks like what she saw. However, she finds nothing. Back at the Grabbler's den, he comes in to offer food. Although Finney is skeptical about eating the food, the Grabbler drops it off regardless.
But something else happens. The Grabbler left the door slightly open when he was leaving. Quickly, Finney notices and decides to go through it. Could this be the moment that Finney had been waiting to escape?
While he rushes to the door to go out, he hears the phone ring. He rushes to pick it up. On the other side of the phone is not Bruce this time, but a different voice. The voice quickly warns him not to use the door, that it's a trap. At this moment, Finney is wondering. He asks why, and the voice tells him of the Grabbler's plan to lure him into a trap and punish him by flogging him until he cries. He goes on to quiz which the voice was, and he realizes it's Billy, the paper boy that was abducted. Well aware of the plan, Finney peeks through and sees what he confirms to be true, so he returns back to the cell and eats the food brought by the Grabbler. The phone rings again, and it's still Billy on the phone. He gives Finney a hint about escaping. He directs him to a place on the wall where he successfully hides a long wire. Finney understands the plan and goes along with it. Gwen dreams of a clue again, this time closer than she was last time. She dreams and sees how Billy was abducted. She sees the house of the Grabbler, but she can't clearly figure out the location. Finney is doing all he can to escape with the clue Billy gave him. He tries, but fails at it as the plan doesn't work out. Gwen decides to have a conversation with her dad about her supposed dream. She finds out her deceased mom was once like that. Her dad explains his fears to Gwen, but she is resolved to use her dreams to find her brother. Her dad agrees and tells the detectives the neighborhood she has been seeing in her dreams. The detectives canvass the area and inspect the houses, but find nothing save an erratic man who has been secretly working out the case. The detectives and the police do not find anything substantial and somewhat find him suspicious. Finney is trying to escape with the first clue Bryce gives to him. Just then, the Grabbler walks in. He brings him food and leaves the door open yet again. Immediately after, the phone rings again. This time, no one speaks. The Grabbler sets the same trap again, waiting for Finney to use the door and go upstairs.
He decides not to follow the plan. After eating, Finney beholds an unbelievable sight in his cell. This time, it's not the phone, but something more terrifying.
He sees a boy hanging awkwardly while dripping blood. Finally, a voice speaks to him from the phone. This time, the voice tells him to hasten things up. Finney asks why he is still left alive and not murdered yet. The voice tells him about the Grabbler plans to play a game before he can kill him. He has intentionally left the door open to lure him out as part of the game.
Fortunately for Finney, the voice informs him the Grabbler is now asleep on his chair. Could this be the perfect time for him to escape successfully?
He gets descriptions, including the key combination to the door lock from the voice. Then he successfully evades the Grabbler and runs outside, shouting for help. But the Grabbler soon catches up with him and puts a knife around his throat. He sends Finney back inside his cell. Finney is devastated and discouraged by his failed plan. Then the phone rings, and he is very reluctant to pick up the call. But he picks it up anyways. He recognizes the voice to be from Vance. The voice warns him of what is coming and guides him to break through a storage room. Finney acts fast and gets past the concrete wall, but he can't open the giant door. Meanwhile, Gwen dreams of a clearer hint. Could this be the moment? Finney's plan fails yet again. He is frustrated and cries bitterly. Just maybe he won't be getting out. The phone rings again, and Finney is not interested in picking it up. He finally gathers the strength to pick up. At the end of the phone is his dead friend, Robin. Finney is amazed and happy to hear from his friend. Robin motivates him to stop crying and look for a way out. He begs Finney to please bring down the Grabbler and give justice to them. Robin teaches him some smart moves to attack the Grabbler with and tells him to fill up the telephone ends with sand. Finney doubts if he can pull this off, but his friend encourages him and asks about how much of a fighter he is.
He goes on to carry out the instructions, fills both sides of the phone with sand, and repeatedly tries his new move. Mr. Grabbler definitely won't know what's swinging at him.
Gwen's dreams finally come clear as she sees the clue and the numbers she dreamt about in a neighborhood. She immediately contacts the detectives to carry out a raid at the place. After that, everyone is preparing for the next step, including the Grabbler. However, trouble brews for the Grabbler when the erratic man interviewed earlier by the police uncovers a hidden truth. He discovers his brother had been the Grabbler all along, and the basement has been the hideout since the case has started. He goes in and finds Finney, but loses his life as the Grabbler walks in on him and puts an axe through his head. The Grabbler is pissed at Finney for making him take his brother's life and decides to take things faster by finishing him off. Finney prepares for the worst as the Grabbler attacks him with an axe. He acts very bravely by evading the first attack. Finney lures him into a trap, which the Grabbler falls into, resulting in him breaking his leg. He is almost powerless as he cannot move. He tries to grab Finney, who uses the phone to hit the Grabbler very hard. His mask is removed while struggling, and Finney has him in a chokehold. Meanwhile, the police search the house Gwen described. However, they find nothing but filled graves and one that is still empty. While the two are still battling it out, the phone rings for one last time, with a message from all the dead victims. They give him the last taste of their mind just before Finney snaps his neck completely. Then, Finney is able to come out of the Grabbler's den, and Gwen spots and runs up to him. The police get them out of the scene and take control from there. They reunite with their father, who apologizes for being unreasonable. Finney arrives at school and becomes popular as the one who took down the Grabbler.
The movie is simply a masterpiece and isn't your regular horror movie. However, it carries a very good suspense that gets you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. One can't help but adore the relationship between the two siblings. It's one that would definitely get you grinning throughout the movie. It's surely one for a horror movie night. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to be notified when we upload, and don't forget to suggest movies that you want for a recap in the comments.